Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, Gamer K. It's the final video for the month of March, and you're probably, if people who have watched a lot of my videos and saw my last DLC review of The Wrath of the Druids for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, may notice some similarities in this video. For one, I've got my version 3 Megatron artwork up, my Master Defender's poster up, my Kamen Rider Xaid mashup going. I even got my Valhalla shirt on. The only difference is, like, my beard's is shorter and my hair's shorter too. For those of you who can't understand why almost everything's exactly the same as the last video, well, it's really simple. It's the same game, basically, but worse! I don't understand how this could have happened. Like, okay. Instead of just babbling like an idiot, shut up. Seriously, can anyone tell me where this thing came from and why I listened to it? So, let's get down to the dirty details, because I got my notes here. And let's go over Assassin's Valhalla's second attempt of a DLC and see where things take us from there. Spoiler alert, it's not. Now, for everyone, so to keep clear of what happens, you can go watch my video. It's in my video list, so I'm not going to put a link because I don't put links to my own videos or anything. But hang on. Go check it out. Go check out that video. And I'm just, for prosperity, I'm going to put the final score of the last game here. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because the story was boring. The villains were bland, rip-offs, basically the same, nothing interesting. The side missions were a pain in the ass to do. And again, it felt like there was nothing in this world because the green of Ireland just kept everything so secluded, and it made you feel like you were just on a giant hill with no one to interact with. So let's hope the Siege of Paris does something a little bit different. The Siege of Paris came out 3 months after the events, after the Wrath of the Druids, so August of last year. And oh boy, did Paris suck. Okay, technically it's not Paris, it's Francia or Francia, whatever. It's basically somewhat Paris, where we have been summoned by an old friend of Sigurd. I can't remember her name, but yeah, it's always a woman that's going to help us out in this for some reason. And afterwards, I believe she joins our clan, so I'm not 100% sure. So we sailed to Francia in order to help the ramblings of Charles the Fat, aka the King Charles, but they call him Charles the Fat, as he's been going crazy and almost attacking the Danes in said area, in the area of Francia, who are starting to rebel against the Mad King. Meeting the king, okay, I was sure he was going to be the villain because he's so mad and everything, but a couple extra things happen that make me somewhat second guess it a little bit. So, basically, he requests us to do a couple tasks for him. For example, find his wife, who I guess kind of helps him a little bit, and find his long-lost son, who he plans to put on the throne. Now, this is where Charles' character gets a little bit interesting. At times, he is very brash and insultish. Insultish, is that a word? Insulting towards people and crazy and angry. And the other times, he's calm and collective. Now, I never knew what was going on until near the end of the game, of the DLC. But at the same time, I kind of knew what was going on because, yeah, playing a lot of crime games, watching a lot of crime shows, and not only that, taking a criminology course in college, I kind of suspected what was going to happen. But go more into the game more. So, there is a total of a good amount of missions in this game. of main missions, we've got 19 main missions and 9 side missions. And those are split off into doing like what we would normally do, like the world discovery mysteries, and doing all those in the game. And some of them are actually pretty enjoyable. We also have to, along with the help of the Danes, we will also help the Resistance. I don't know why I said it like that. So by doing resistance missions, which are basically doing somewhat of the same thing of that Wrath of the Druids did, like, eliminate these certain enemies. Don't die. Obviously don't die. No unnecessary kills. But they eliminate all that in favor of, as you complete resistance missions, you will gain points. And you will also gain the ability to increase how many resistant warriors you get, their weapons, their abilities, their skills, and depending on how many of them survive the encounter, the mission that you do, you will get extra bonuses. And the bonuses are worth it because you're going to want to quickly get the Reaper gear. Yes! Oh my God! How long have I waited to wield a scythe in a video game? Oh my God! It's perfect. The Reaper gear makes you feel like a Grim Reaper badass. From dual-wielding scythes to the cloak to the mask. I mean, I don't really use the masks because I don't really use armor. I keep that area empty, but I keep the armor on, so I keep it invisible. But it's just so good just to wield. Oh my God, I can't. Okay, wielding the Reaper weapons, the scythe and the Reaper armor in this game is worth the price alone for this game. And even though you get to explore Francia a little bit, and it's quite a big area, so it's somewhat big, somewhat smaller than the Ireland map, but there's more to do in it. You feel like it's an actual land and an actual town and a kingdom and all that. So that is worth the price of a mission alone. Just the Reaper gear. And the story kind of bounces back a little bit from the resistance to helping King Charles to helping his wife, who's trying to calm him down to see reason. And your choices do still affect the story a little bit. But the big mishap in this game is, quite honestly, 2 big things that should have been, I don't know, somewhat interesting. For one thing, they advertised this a week before the game's release, the DLC's release, that they brought back the Sandbox Missions. You guys remember the Sandbox Missions, right? The ones that were brought in to Unity and Syndicate, where you can tackle this. You can tackle the assassination mission any which way you want, and there's a special secret kill. For example, going back to Unity and Syndicate, you can sneak into the cathedral, go into the confessional booth, and assassinate the target. They're doing a lot more in Syndicate than in Unity. So in Syndicate, you can be on top of the train and land on the target. You can hide behind the painting. You can access the secret code, the password to get entrance to the room. You can tie up Maxwell Roth's leg and bring him up to the rafters to kill him. So a lot of cool stuff like that. And there are. And you do, and the Sandbox missions, I will admit, are really, really interesting. I mean, they're all basically just the assassination missions again. But I'll get to that when I get to it. Right now, actually, because I'm tired of babbling about talking how good this is. Because, oh dear God, I can't speak enough good things about this game because there's very few good things to talk about. For one, we do not, and I can't frickin' stress this enough, we do not find a new sect of the Order of the Ancients or remnants of them, or even stuff like the Children of Danu, or the Cult of Cosmos from Odyssey. Obviously, that's thousands of years later, or hundreds. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, hundreds. But at the same time, what we could have gotten because this is a mad king and Christians and all that stuff, we could have had, because it's done a couple years afterwards, maybe, like I said, do some remnants of the Order of Ancients that have defected and trot from England, and or do what Assassin's Creed Odyssey did. Even though that game was annoying and boring as shit, the DLCs made up for it by bringing back the Order of Ancients in a way, but they still frickin' sucked because we didn't get a frickin' white room. To be fair, we didn't have a hidden blade, so maybe that's part of it. I know I'm babbling. I hate it. We could have had an Order of Ancients come in from, let's see, what back then, what would be a good country? Somewhere other than England. Like, after the defeat of the Order of Ancients in England, why not just bring out new Order of Ancients members to try to put this king in their power? But no. After all my babbling, oh my God, we are dealt. I want to get this name right. The Bellatorus Dei. That's spelled D-E-I, which translates to God's warriors, which are not members of the Order of Ancients, which are not the creation of the Templar Order that someone in the game is the creation of. And I'm not going to say who, because for people who haven't played the game, my cousin in particular, who might watch this, they are not members of the Order. They're not even promo Templars. You know what? What could have been a little bit better? What if it was members of the sages? Like, what if it was like certain sages? Or is there only one sage per series? Yeah, it's one sage because it's all the reincarnation of one dude. Okay, scratch that idea. They are, in fact, members of a religious sect, and they're zealots who believe that Francia has turned away from the Christian ways and Christianity and all that. So what they plan to do is use the Mad King to implement their laws and their beliefs and onto the people. Religious zealots. That's what you've got. Okay. Look, I don't mind eliminating religious nut jobs. I think Assassin's Creed is famous for that. But we have had people who tried to kill Niccolo Copernicus. Who tried to kill Copernicus. We had people who tried to kidnap Leonardo da Vinci in order to gain access to the ultimate knowledge. We've had the Templars. We've had the Order of Ancients. We've had the Cult of Cosmos who tried to sow seeds of chaos throughout the Grecian world. Which, by the way, they're on my list of some of the worst villains in gaming history, mind you. We've had the sages. We've had the Isu kind of B villains a little bit. Hopefully in the next game we get a little bit more information on that. But aside from that, you decide to go with religious zealots who are trying to control a mad king in order to direct the humanity back into the corrupt ways of their religious beliefs. What? Are you kidding me? And what the funny thing is, none of them are memorable. I had to look these guys up because they are so unmemorable. And I know what you're thinking. Well, at least you get to take them out. Yeah, I mean, the sandbox ways that you kill them are kind of cool. Like the first one, you have to take the place of a guy who's about to be born again or whatever, and then kill the guy. And then we have to find the crazy lunatic nun or whatever it is. And before she tries to kill the king, they believe that the king's queen has been whispering in his ears and making him turn against the faith. So she was going to sacrifice her. Yeah, that actually happened. So we have to get close to her. And then the final one, he hides in a church. So we got to find a clever way to kill him. And what better way to kill a religious zealot than by blowing up a wall in the church so that the cross comes crashing down on him. Wait a minute, we actually do that? I was just making a really poor taste joke, but that's actually what we do. Oh my God, wow, that worked out kind of well. And then in the final boss of the game, we fight the Mad King Charles in his creepy executioner outfit as he's gone mad and started having his soldiers kill a bunch of innocent people. Now, this boss fight is a good boss fight. I will admit, it did take me a couple tries, reloading the game, so I didn't until I get the ending that I kind of wanted. But this is actually ingenious. In this one, you can do one of two things. You can either kill him outright, or the more damage he takes, and his weakness is fire. So if you're going into this fight, make sure you got plenty of weapons and your fire using abilities, because the more he burns, the more and make sure you deplete a good majority of the stamina bar. That way he'll be stunned. And what you got to do is you got to once you stun him, you got to go to the back of the room and open the gate that he locked. And you got to do it by holding the button and opening the gate. And then you got to go in that said room, weaken him there, and stun him. Don't double stun him, because then he'll come right out of it. But the more health he loses, the more stunned he will be. And then you leave, close the gate on him. That's the best ending possible for this DLC. And it's done really well. And then it's kind of revealed during that the zealots believed that the king was possessed by a devil. Why am I getting Black Clover themes from this a little bit? Creepy religious zealots, believing someone to be possessed by a devil. Nope, I'm not going to make a bad taste joke there. So my suspicions were a fact when he said that he was gone, but he's always been there, implicating that the Mad King Charles had in fact split personality disorder, where he was a kind and gentle man, but the split personality is more of an evil, authoritative version. So I guess that's kind of a good way to introduce split personality into an Assassin's Creed game back in the olden days, where, they didn't know stuff about that, and they all thought like it was demons and devils and possessions and all that. I really love when period games, period TV shows and period movies, mostly TV shows and games, where they implement stuff that we know nowadays into that, so to see how it's handled and all that. And I really did love it. And the boss fight was really well done. I will warn you though, he is high leveled, so you will have to do a bunch of leveling up. But with the main game and the first DLC, I'm pretty sure by this point, you're going to be leveled up to the point where it will be a cinch. Now, going back to the Sandbox Missions, even though they brought it back, we use it 4 times in this whole game, and we only get 3 unique assassinations. I mean, that's okay, right? No, because we don't even get the White Room, because they're not Templars. Apparently, the White Room is only Templar. It's Templar only. Except for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, because a good number of them weren't even Templars, so we just wanted to get their story and all that. And also Kasegawase from Assassin's Creed 3. So, yeah, he wasn't a Templar. He was just led astray and all that. So, yeah, apparently the White Room is Templars only. Or Order of Ancients. Both. Either or. So yeah, I will admit, the fact that you get to choose, it's just like when you fight the redhead in Wrath of the Druids. You can either kill her or you can spare her. I mean, she did make a mistake. So I do enjoy that they give you this option, but you have to know this going into battle and figuring it out. So I just gave you guys a little bit of an example of what to do, doing the stunning him and then doing the cage thing. So that's the best ending possible for this DLC. And now for the worst part. How long is this DLC? Well, Wrath of the Druids was about 8 hours for the main game. And for completionists, doing a majority of collecting everything, getting the extra achievements, it takes 15 hours to do so. And since this is the second DLC, it would be a little bit longer, obviously. After double checking everything, the main story, because I take breaks and I do little bits day and day and do other stuff, I don't always binge the entirety of it in one day. But the Siege of Paris, that is one mission in this. Like, the whole siege is one mission right near the end. So calling it the Siege of Paris, I get it because it was a historical event, but yeah, this DLC is 6 hours story and 11 hours for completionists. So the second DLC is roughly, okay, so if we take the 8 hours and we take 2 hours and we take the 15, 11, 4, 6 hours, like collectively 6 hours less than the first DLC. That's terrible. That is downright terrible. And the story kind of is okay. I mean, I like that the story's here and I like that there's extra stuff to do around, but it doesn't make sense to have the villains suck so much in this. And then for it to be 6 hours, 11 hours for completionists. Oh, we also get to investigate new assassin bureaus that were in Francia before, and we gotta refine them. And I will admit, that's enjoyable. The side missions are really enjoyable. The main missions are okay. But the fact that we only get 3 kills and they don't even, and it's not even used a lot, the sandbox style missions, and the fact that it's so short, the villains are so lame. Although the final, okay, like I said with the Wrath of the Druids, the Baldur boss fight is what saved it from being a 5. I thought the sandbox missions were going to end the majority and a good amount of side stuff to do would elevate this ranking. But it didn't, because if I can't enjoy the villains and I can't enjoy I know I'm going to say this and it's going to sound weird, but in Assassin's Creed game, if you don't connect with the villain, like if they don't get, like, they're uninteresting. So the final boss of this DLC is what brought it up a little bit. The Reaper gear, the side missions, the sandbox missions brought it up again in concept. In execution, it was brought down again because of how little they used it. How, again, the villains were lame. And I can barely remember a lot of this. I could remember the Wrath of the Druids at the back of my head. This, I have to go into it and research it. And there wasn't even enough information. So, history is doomed to repeat itself, ladies and gentlemen. Gamer K's final verdict for the DLC review of The Siege of Paris for Assassin's Creed Valhalla is once again a 6 out of 10. That's why the same pictures are up, the same shirt, just my beard is different and my hair, because even though with a little changes, it's still the exact same result. And even though they did different things differently, what they did collectively was create something boring, uninteresting, unmemorable. Even a couple things that saved it still brought it down. And I can't say enough about this. All I know. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for this video. If you like the video, give me a like, comment, subscribe down below. And all I can say is I am so happy that I don't have to go back to Valhalla for any extra reasons at all anymore. Oh my God, I forgot that existed. Oh, again. Okay. I'll get to this when I get to it. Yeah. Oh my God, Ragnarok. You know what? I'm done. That's it for March, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you guys in April. This is Gamer K logging out. Where we'll be going into Power Rangers with special gems.